Hello students. So we have studied till that proteins have different level of organization. The first one is primary structure. So today I will discuss about primary structure. Primary structure. Primary structure is nothing but the sequence of amino acid. The amino acid, these are arranged, and that basic structure, the basic sequence of amino acid is the primary structure. So primary structure will give the determination of, it will determine the amino acid sequences. The complete amino acid sequence of a protein, read amino terminal to carboxyl terminal, is known as primary structure. So yesterday only I have discussed this, that one side is the amino terminal and another side is the carboxyl terminal. So the amino acids that will be present between amino terminal to carboxyl terminal, the complete sequence will give the primary structure. At both the ends we will have amino terminal and the carboxyl terminal, and in between we will have the amino acid, and this whole sequence will give us the primary structure. Then apart from the sequence of amino acid, if we also want to know the molecular weight of a protein, that can also be determined. So the molecular weight of a protein roughly tells about the number of amino acid residue that it contains. So how many amino acid is present in a protein, in a complete protein, will be we can get by knowing the molecular weight of the protein. Each amino acid residue has an average molecular weight of 110 dalton. So each amino acid will have approximately 110 dalton. So if the molecular weight of a protein is 11,000 dalton, we can predict that 100 amino acid residues are present. See, if the molecular weight, suppose this is an example, if the molecular weight is 11,000 dalton, so how many amino acid does it contain? We know that the average amino acid weight, molecular weight, is 110 dalton and total weight is 11,000 dalton. So by dividing these two, by dividing 11,000 with 110 dalton, we will get 100 amino acid. So roughly we can predict that if the molecular weight is 11,000, then the amino acid residue that is present in the protein will be 100. Roughly it contains 100 amino acid. The first protein to be sequenced was the hormone insulin. Insulin, it is a hormone. Okay, and deficiency of insulin, it leads to a disease called as diabetes. This we already know. So this insulin, this is a hormone, and hormone is nothing but, hormones are the proteins. So the first protein to be sequenced was for the hormone insulin. Sequence means we have came to know the arrangement, what all amino acid does it contain. So this insulin will contain many amino acid, and the sequence of those amino acid can be determined. So insulin was the first to be sequenced. Then there was a scientist, Fred Sanger. He showed for the first time that proteins have a definite structure and that amino acid are covalently linked through peptide bonds. He was the first one to show that proteins, they have a definite structure, and he also said that these amino acid are linked through peptide bonds. Now what is his importance? The next paragraph you will see. This scientist Sanger, he invented a method of protein sequencing using stepwise release and identification of amino acid starting from N-terminal amino acid. So he was the scientist who invented a method of protein sequencing. He was the he was the first one who have invented this method. He did protein sequencing. So what he did? Protein sequencing means, as I already said, we can know the sequence of the amino acid that is present in a particular protein. For example, you are taking any protein. Suppose you are taking insulin, and you want to know what all amino acid it contains in it. So for that we do protein sequencing, and the exact sequence, that first suppose amino acid 1 is present, second amino acid, the exact sequence we can determine. Then another scientist, Fair Edman, he was another scientist who developed a sequencing technique which has been automated. So his Sanger's method was manually. Later on, another scientist, Edman, he developed a sequencing technique. He also developed sequencing technique, but this was now automated. That means it is now more developed one. So nowadays it is possible to read protein sequences using the automated sequencer. So nowadays we use this automated one. Now let us see about this automated sequencer, the sequencing strategies. So sequencers are machines which chemically labeled the N-terminal amino acid of the polypeptide. Specifically, it releases the labeled amino acid residue, leaving the rest of the protein shortened by one residue. See, this is an automated sequencer that I have discussed in our previous slide, which was developed by Edman. Nowadays it has been more developed, and little modification is also made. So the basic principle is same. What they did in this method, the N-terminal amino acid of the peptide, remember we have on both the side we have two terminals. One side is N-terminal. So the N-terminal of the peptide is first labeled. It is first labeled, and then it is cleaved. It is broken from the peptide. First we will label the N-terminal amino acid, then this amino acid is cleaved from the peptide. The labeled amino acid is then identified by a chromatographic technique, and this procedure is repeated several times to find out the sequence of the amino acid from the N-terminal end. I'll show you the diagram that will be more clear. See, suppose this side is the N-terminal and these are the amino acids. So what we will do, we will label this N-terminal amino acid with some labeling agent. Suppose this red one is our labeling agent. So we will label this terminal, this amino acid from the N-terminal, and then after labeling this with the amino acid, we will cleave this, we will break down this. So this one is separated, and we will come to know the amino acid, which amino acid this is. Then next again we will label the next amino acid, we will cleave it and we will add here, next, and so on. So this process is repeated several times. See here another diagram. So suppose these are our amino acid. Here the numbering, suppose this is amino acid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And this side, this is our N-terminal. So here we will do a labeling reaction. We will label this. with some radioactive agents also. Okay, so now we have labeled this number 1 amino acid. After labeling, in the next step, we will cleave this, we will remove this. So we will get the amino acid here, the number 1 amino acid here. This is our cycle 1. In the next, again we will repeat the same process. Now since 1 has already been removed and we already came to know what amino acid it was, now I will shift to the second amino acid. The second amino acid is again labeled with the labeling agent, and after that, after labeling, I will remove the second amino acid. I will get here the second amino acid. Again, the third amino acid is labeled and it is removed. So this process, it keeps on going. So in practice, the sequencer, they can accurately read about 50 amino acid residue in one go. So they can read about 50 amino acid in one go. Therefore, if the protein is large, if our protein is too large, then what we can do, we will cleave the protein. We will break down the protein. Suppose if we have 100 amino acid, a protein, very large protein of 100 amino acid, then we can cleave that amino acid into 2 parts, 50 and 50, by some specific proteolytic enzyme such as trypsin and chymotrypsin, and we will break down this protein into 2 parts and then we can sequence it. So after that, the process will be same only. For sequencing, the process is same only, this one only.